Did an Oregon farmer caught the most famous UFO photo ever in 1950? The Trents captured a metallic disc over their farm, published in Life magazine. This iconic image sparked a decades-long mystery. Was it a genuine aliens exist evidence? The lost negatives and strange lighting say the mystery is still unsolved.
As we seen in Part 1. The McMinnville UFO photographs were taken by a farming couple, Paul and Evelyn Trent near McMinnville, Oregon, United States in May 1950. The photos were reprinted in Life magazine and in newspapers across the nation, and are often considered to be among the most famous photographs ever taken of a UFO. Most UFO skeptics believe that the photos are a hoax, but many ufologists continue to argue that the photos actually depict a genuine unidentified object in the sky. In 1975, the negatives were found in the files of the News Register by Bruce Maccabee, an optical physicist for the US Navy and a ufologist. After completing his own study of the photos, Maccabee ensured that the original negatives were finally returned to the Trents. Maccabee analyzed the photos and concluded that the photographs were not hoaxed and showed a real, physical object in the sky above the Trent farm. Much of his analysis is based on densitometric measurements, similar to the photometric analysis done by Hartmann. Maccabee argued that the brightness of the object's underside suggested it was at some distance from the camera, not a smaller object close to it. Maccabee also analyzed the position of various objects in the image as well as an image prepared by Hartmann when he visited the site in June 1967. Based on this, Maccabee argued that the line of sight of the two images intersected some distance behind the power lines seen in the photos, providing further evidence, in his opinion, that it was not a small model suspended from the lines. Maccabee stated that his analysis of the object did not find any evidence of a thread or string suspending it from the power lines. In reply to the skeptical arguments that shadows on objects in the photos proved that they were taken in the morning rather than in the early evening, as the Trents had claimed, Maccabee argued that cloud conditions in the McMinnville area on the evening of the sighting could have caused the shadows on the garage. He also stated, in response to the 2013 IPACO photo analysis that concluded the photos were a hoax, that regarding their photogrammetric analysis, I showed that the sighting lines did not cross under the wires, and they did not refute this. I still stand on my original work. In the 1980s, journalists and noted UFO skeptics Philip J. Klass and Robert Sheaffer stated their opinions that the photos were faked, and that the entire event was a hoax. Their primary argument stated that shadows on a garage on the left-hand side of the photos proved that the photos were taken in the morning rather than in the early evening, as the Trents had claimed. Klass and Sheaffer argued that since the Trents had apparently lied about the time of day the photos were taken, their entire story was thus suspect. They also claimed that the Trents had shown an interest in UFOs prior to their alleged sighting. Additionally, their analysis of the photos suggested that the object photographed was small and likely a model hanging from power lines visible at the top of the photos. They also believed the object may have been the detached side view mirror of a vehicle. The object has a shape that is very similar to the round mirrors that were used on Ford vehicles for decades, or similar models on almost all vehicles of the era. Klass also claimed to have found a number of contradictions in the Trent's story of the sighting, and noted that their version of the incident changed over the years. His conclusion was that the Trents had fabricated the event. After Sheaffer sent his research and conclusions to William Hartmann, Hartmann withdrew his previous positive assessment of the case, which had been forwarded to the Condon Committee. In April 2013, 3 researchers with IPACO posted 2 studies to their website titled Back to McMinnville Pictures and Evidence of a Suspension Thread. They argued that the geometry of the photographs is most consistent with a small model with a hollow bottom hanging from a wire suspended from the power lines above, and they stated that they had detected the presence of a thread above the object. Their conclusion was that the clear result of this study was that the McMinnville UFO was a model hanging from a thread. The McMinnville UFO photographs remain among the best publicized in UFO history. Skeptics continue to explain the two photographs as being hoaxes and/or fakes. Ufologists continue to argue that the Trent photos are credible evidence that UFOs are a real, physical phenomenon. The Trents have consistently been described as honest, simple farm folk who never attempted to profit from their photographs, nor the notoriety they brought them. Evelyn Trent died in 1997, and Paul Trent in 1998. Both insisted until the end of their lives that the sighting, and the photos, were genuine. The interest surrounding the Trent UFO photos led to an annual UFO festival being established in McMinnville. It is now the largest such gathering in the Pacific Northwest, and is the second largest UFO festival in the nation after the one held in Roswell, New Mexico.